is your language company at a point where you could shift some of the responsibility to someone else, or is it that you are the company, you are the face of the company?
Well, I am the face of the company, but I have in the past 2 years, I have uh, grown my team. So right
Oh,
now, for instance, I have an assistant, a personal assistant to me, so she handles a big load of my responsibilities. And also in operations, my team has grown. But anyhow, we are a small business anyway.
because why I asked, you mentioned two other companies, and you can only get those companies up and running, or the next company up and running, if you are not required for the total operations or 100%
Yeah,
of the operations in this company. You can
exactly.
totally divorce yourself and do an oversight, perform an oversight role just to ensure that the things, your culture is the same, what your objectives and goals are being met, and just giving them like from an executive chairman type of an approach. Then you can be building out the other company without that interference.
And I'm showing up, as I said, as an investor for the last 30 years. I'm still investing in different areas, consulting in many areas. In fact, we'll have a meeting later on today with one of our peers that's going to focus on providing capital and funding, and certainly coaching businesses as well too. So my initiative in talking to other peers over the last many years, and 5, 6 years since I've had this Peers on Demand, is that many of them are looking to grow their business. That's obvious in business,
Absolutely.
either internally with more clients or generating more revenue, or externally with investors or people that can step in as partners, private equity, in what we call co-venturing. It's really collaborative venturing. And we've been doing that, business has been doing that forever. It's let's connect, do business together. So it's a newer name for something that's been around for quite a while. And so in doing that, last year we stepped into the cybersecurity world because it's a huge multi-trillion-dollar industry with no very easy solutions. But we approached it with a cybersecurity academy so that people can learn how to take courses and learn different areas of cybersecurity and protect themselves. Also focusing with healthcare because they're liable to be breached with cybersecurity attacks and other different vertical markets. And so along those lines, also, we started working with some of our other peers that offer different value. Consulting Ace offers government grants, commercial incentives, if you qualify. And this is mostly US for government grants, but some commercial incentives can be also global throughout the world. Also working with Entrepreneurs University that focuses on training for small and medium and large size companies as well, with over 600 modules of training. We're starting to work with VenOps. They've created an AI tool to be able to address the medical market that they're focusing in orthopedics, over 1,000 clients that they have to be able to engage them a little bit better. And some of our other peers, Echo.ai, Savvy.ai, that all focuses in healthcare employee benefits and providing a lot more assessments for employees as well. Continuum Foundation, they're focused on virtual solutions with, of course, blockchain is the foundation, and NFTs because of that, and also cryptocurrency because of that. So there's a lot of different areas that we're going to see coming out of the virtual environment over the next few decades. And of course, working with different parts of the world, Ruba.world, which is in Southeast Asia, and also philanthropic areas with nonprofits and recycles. Blackbird Global Foundation is focused on being able to give two communities, healthcare perspectives. They started with cybersecurity. They're still doing that, but they stepped into healthcare, providing it in the form of kiosks and raised quite a bit of capital in the billions of dollars to be able to address it, which governments are able to do that. So other areas as well too. So my invitation is that you might consider joining our mastermind sessions that we have on a weekly basis if you qualify to be able to participate and meet other leaders that would want to co-venture. So that's my invitation to be able to certainly join our community, join our events, join our world of co-ventures, and consider being part of our mastermind. So Cheryl, I wonder if you might share more about what is the big idea that the organization offers this coming year, 2025, the opportunity, maybe the challenge in doing that. But let's start with the big idea, Cheryl.
Okay. So Blue Moho Capital is an impact investment firm. And pretty much it was created because Jamaicans all over the world wanted a safe and secure, let me not say secure, that may have been too strong a word, a safe way to invest back into well, not Jamaicans, Caribbean nationals want a way that they can invest back in the Caribbean. I don't know, but as a Caribbean people, we can find our people mostly in the US. That's the biggest number of members of our diaspora across the world. And they do contribute to our countries. And so we wanted to find a way in which an organized way for investment. But nobody was able to do that being in the US. So it created an opportunity for Blue Moho Capital, which is a US-based firm. It's registered by the Securities Exchange Commission. We're actually going public this year on the NASDAQ as well. So there are several points of interest. They're currently available shares in Blue Moho Capital. They're real estate investments, and we've just launched a diaspora bond, and that's basically giving persons an opportunity to invest as low as $100 US with a guaranteed 10% return annually. So that's basically where we are. And what it is that anything that we're doing, it needs to have a positive impact. So we talk about the earth and we talk about anything that's environmentally friendly, and we're into the whole social environment as well. So we look at the natural, the social, and all of that. So it must be something that's giving returns on all levels, not just money.
Yeah, boy, what's the biggest challenge that you feel the organization's facing, Cheryl?
So pretty much our biggest challenge is faced with persons having diverse interests and with the not sure what is happening in terms of the economic challenges that may occur in the US. So they're looking for opportunities, but their challenge is this where I want to be? So it's just to say, is Blue Moho Capital the vehicle for me to do what I want to do? But it's an opportunity as well. So that's basically the biggest challenge. And also, just to say to you that when anything happens in the US, be good or bad, it could be an inverse result for us. So, you know, there are lots of things that can be done. So we see the opportunity more than the challenges, but the challenge I see, and my CEO may have other ideas, which I will yield to him to say when he gets on this call. But that's basically where I see the challenges.
Well, not really. I was very interested what Cheryl was saying. I was just paying attention to that, and I'm thinking, maybe in the future, I would like to explore investing. But of course, is had to, to make sure that, how can I say that, that's where I want to go. But it's very interesting, and I think it's something that's going to grow.
Maria, you've got a translation business. I forget how many years you've been doing that, but for quite a long time.
Close
And
to 20
certainly
years.
you'd like to expand your business further as well too, especially because it's a global business. So Maria, I wonder if you could share what's a big idea in your business this year, the opportunity, maybe the challenge that you're facing. But first, let's start with the big idea.
Yeah,
Maria?
well, the big idea, as I was saying before, is growing the business. I am preparing to invest quite a while on marketing and sales in order to do that. But the big challenge right now is AI. AI for me is a wonderful tool that I am I am learning how to work with that properly, but also is like my main competition right now. Just for instance, a document that needed to be translated before, because we work with over 200 languages, a document that needed to be translated and sent to us. Now, it's just easy to put it in AI and get it translated and get it over. So that's one of the challenges that we are facing. But I am focusing on customers as the government's entities, like, within the state government, which I provide already services to a few of those entities there. But I want to grow that because there's a lot of need of languages in those areas, like human resources, human health, and all of those. But for outside particular private companies, I think it's going to be a little harder to get clients, among those, because they can go ahead and just get AI, and it's one of the situations. And that's why I am also focusing this year in diversifying. I want to bring up to life again my company, Sustainable Legacy Properties, and also as you remember, the company that we have that deals with artisans and handmade, several products that are handmade, and but everything needs to be within our philosophy. Our basically in that philosophy is that we are applying it to both Sustainable Legacy Properties and Gooseberry Group, which is the other company that deals with the jewelry. And for sustainable, I would love to find investors. Yeah, I would love to find investors, because on the when we started first working with that, we were hit by the COVID. That's and we lost over $60,000 in one house because it was just it stopped, and we had to keep paying interest. So I am trying to raise capital to be able even to start with one house, and then two, and then three, and so on, but not without paying interest. So that's one of the ideas there too. And of course, the construction materials and all what goes into the house as decoration, as everything it needs to be according to these principles. So, and my daughter is a real estate broker, so she will be able to, to handle the selling. And but yeah, it needs to be maybe a little more expensive than usually are the homes, but it's going to be in those parameters, even the outside, even the gardens, and that has to be sustainable.
It makes a lot of sense is to focus on the translation. Here's why.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of experience in that. You've got momentum, and the appearance of AI, whether it's OpenAI, ChatGPT, or DeepSeek, allows you to become even more granular, more specific, more niche oriented, because now you've got anybody can just use any AI and translate. So in that niche, you might want to consider getting even very, very technical. And let me explain the ones that are not able to use AI completely for translation. And those are highly technical environments. It could be medical, could be even finance, could be even doing contracts. Very highly technical environments that requires a human being. That's where the niche has to be. So I would think, Maria, you want to really hone that down a lot more. Embrace AI. Tell people that you will assist them with AI and let them do 80% of it. And the 20% that requires a human being would be you. So I think that might be a lot more sense.
Rocky says there are opportunities and you just have to identify them because I find myself, yes, I'll go on to something and let's say YouTube or whatever. But what I miss in doing some of the things that are offered on, let's say, YouTube University is the immediate human interaction. Because these things are recorded and these things are, yes, you can get immediate interaction from AI and all of that, but sometimes the human speech is a little bit different, and there are areas that's what I call untranslatable, and you can clarify as a native speaker.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things that I figure you would.
Well, yeah, as just to clarify, the first thing that you say, Bilingual Connections is my main company, that the one that I have been working over 20 years now. And that's the one that I am focusing the most right now to grow it, but with the goal of selling it in a couple of years or 3 years or something like that. But then, yeah, the other companies they are not just created. They are maybe 5, 6 years old, but I have not been able to get them up and running. Yeah, many different factors come into that, but yeah, it's something that is in my mind and something that I really want to do because covers and aligns with my principles. When I say it's also my children. We are working together on some things. They are adults, of course, and they have their own jobs and that, but they like these concepts. They have grown with these concepts. So that's why I want to pursue those other things also. But thank you so much for your feedback. And yeah, it's a great idea what you say, and we have done a few times what you were saying, speaking in a conference, giving some information, some of our work, and then we have got in return, some more work. Is a little difficult right now in the sense that the companies prefer large firms. You see, they don't like, from my experience, they don't like to deal with the small companies, the small businesses. They trust larger companies, So that's one of the challenges that I face.
My question to you, um, is your language company at a point where you could shift some of the responsibility to someone else, or is it that you are the company, you are the face of the company?
Well, I am the face of the company, but I have in the past 2 years, I have uh, grown my team. So right now, for instance, I have an assistant, a personal assistant to me, so she handles a big load of my responsibilities. And also in operations, my team has grown. But anyhow, we are a small business anyway.
Because why I asked, you mentioned two other companies, and you can only get those companies up and running or the next company up and running if you are not required for the total operations or 100%
Yeah,
of the operations in this company. You
exactly.
can totally divorce yourself and do an oversight, perform an oversight role just to ensure that the things, your culture is the same, what your objectives and goals are being met, and just giving them like from an executive chairman type of an approach. Then you can be building out the other company without that interference.
I think at this point, focusing on the business that you're familiar with 20 years experience in your translation business, that can only happen if you focus on that for the next 4 years. And the next 4 years is because currently the administration is focusing on Latin America. Marco Rubio is the Secretary of State. He is Cuban, I think, from his background, but he's making connections with Latin American communities, countries. And this is interesting because if you can focus on Latin American countries, which is Spanish primarily, maybe Portuguese because of Brazil, and English. So that narrows the niche because now you have a lot more attention from the government, and at least for the next 4 years, number one. Number two, there is a lot of support that is being given and requested from other countries, especially Latin America, from cryptocurrency with El Salvador to Argentina with the economic situation, to Colombia, to all those countries are being asked, even Panama, to be able to alleviate some of the taxes that they ask for that. So each country is stepping up and getting awareness. So what does that mean? There needs to be a better flow of communications, Spanish, English, and Portuguese. That's it. And use AI to bring that in. If you could approach the countries and let them know that you're able to bridge the gap of communications from Spanish or Portuguese to English and back and forth with AI and with a technical expertise in that area, I think allows you to have a niche area. Forget all the other languages for now because this is an opportunity, I think, for the next 4 years that's coming to you. And if you could address it. The other opportunities, the jewelry, there's so much jewelry in the world that it's not worth as much. The diamond business is falling dramatically. De Beers is the one that holds it quite a bit. I think they've dropped 50 to 70 to 80% of their value. So the jewelry business is not doing well. The housing business, it takes a lot to be able to house some things. And I think that is a big problem that needs to be solved with big money and big commitments. And they're not showing up. But the ones that are showing up for that area are different things like growing gardens for food so that it can help those people that are in food deserts to grow their own food and be able to do that. So one of our peers is developing that. It's not construction, but it is helping people with food. And when you can feed them, then they can sustain, generate revenue, monies, and of course, grow from there. But I think your main objective, like you said earlier, the sales and marketing is focusing on the translation. And with the opportunity with AI and also Latin America, I think you've got a great direction there. Focus on that. The other two can only happen when you're able to generate monies from the translation and be able to exit that business or be able to bring monies to the others, because those are very difficult industries.